but Sergey, our chaplain and business owner from Charlotte, North Carolina, but also connected to our Ukrainian friends who are here today, Ole, and his wife Victoria, and Andrew, all of whom are from, Andrew, his wife Victoria, are from the Ravine Region Administration, and also also chaplains from the Ukraine. So if you all would stand, our friends from the Ukraine, along with our chaplain, Rich Robinson, who's here tonight. And we are so honored to have them here with us this evening. They had breakfast with the mayor of North Charleston. They had lunch with the CRDC, or with the Trident,
Our economic
development department, and then they had after lunch with the mayor of Charleston, and then they had dinner with me, and now they're here at County Council meeting this evening, and we'll hear a little bit more from them. We're now ready to begin. Our public hearings.
Notice is hereby given that Charleston County Council will hold a public hearing to consider whether St. Paul's Fire District, South Carolina, shall be authorized to issue not exceeding $4,400,000 aggregate principal amount of general obligation bonds.
Do we have any?
We do. We have one person, Anthony G. Bryant.
All right. Thank you so much.
Every June, I come before the council in terms of the budget. And I have some deep concerns. I had an opportunity to speak with the general counsel of some sort with the sheriff, Mr. Ritchie. And it's kind of strange that within these budget items, it's not specific in terms of legal fees and who gets paid and whatever. It's just blanketed $4 million. And so I think we need to see a little more based upon the lawsuits that you've settled, right? The administration and enforcement of this money after you release this money, and the majority of the districts, you have no more control over it afterwards, right? So when you give up the money, like you gave money to the jail, and you gave money to the sheriff's department, you gave money this one, that one, they get sued, and they got to come back here and you got to settle up with the money. So either or, they present a little more. I know the sheriff ain't too happy with me apparently, and I ain't been too pleased with too many people anyway in my speech. But I'm gonna do what's right, and I'm gonna ask about the bread. So when y'all come, when they mess up the bread, then you got to settle the bread, irregardless of political party. And so I'm deeply concerned about the bread. Because a lot of people, again, eggs is high. I got to go to Waffle House, that's 50 cents. So at the end of the day, you take your mama, your grandmama to go to Waffle House now, you got to have $1 extra in your pocket because she going to want another egg. And so to me, to the chairman, who's the new chairman now, you came a long way from there to there. You got a lot of ambition.
I started all the way down there, went down there.
Yeah, you here now. Yeah, that's interesting. But at the end of the day, that's my concern. And I'll be back in the second round.
Thank you so much. All right, public comments.
All right, we have 11 people signed up. The first person is Dan Infinger, and then Mr. Bryant, and then Philip Lowry.
Good evening.
Please give your name and your address.
My name is Danny Infinger, and I reside at 2857 Maybank Highway on Johns Island. If I may quote from the Municipal Association of South Carolina, new development creates new cost for local government. For every new development coming into a county, city, or town, they must consider the cost of providing it with utilities, solid waste and recycling services, roads and streets, stormwater transmission and flood control, along with recreational and educational facilities and public safety. One increasingly important option, used in at least 29 states and in 59% of communities with more than 25,000 inhabitants, is a development impact fee. The fee seeks to recover the financial impact for new developments for local government. Greenville, Beaufort, Lancaster, York,
Bless you.
and Horry
Bless you.
counties have already adopted impact fees. I passed out some things for you. In front of you are copies of information from the Municipal Association of South Carolina on development fee justification, along with a copy of the Beaufort County Development Fee Ordinance. Beaufort County's ordinance is all-encompassing and includes discounts for residents earning less than the median income, along with clear guidelines that meet all requirements of South Carolina law. Perhaps it's a model we can follow to allow impact fees in Charleston County to help with infrastructure needs. My understanding is these fees in Beaufort include all participating municipalities along with unincorporated areas of the county. I hope the county will instruct planning and legal staff to move forward in exploring this as an additional source of funding for the future growth of our county. Perhaps they can get back to council in April, giving a couple of months for them to explore it and see if this is something that might be suitable to allow additional funding. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you.
We normally do not comment after public comments. Council members, just want to let you all know that we do have that information and it will be in your boxes. Thank you so much.
Anthony G. Bryant, President, A.G. Bryant Group, Inc. Public engagement, individuals, neighborhoods, corporations, whatever. Your county fly guy. I was with Melissa Slover Athey. She's director for South State Bank. And my question was, with this Morrison Drive piece, if it's 0-0, we got 500 housing vouchers out there to 1,000. So if it's 0-0, meaning that if Cogswell gives you $38 million, how are you going to do very low income? At that point, you cut the basis high, and then you're going to be getting school teachers and lawyers. They'll still be in their cars sleeping. So in the meantime, while they waiting on them vouchers, they about to sleep in their car in somebody's house, at risk of being housed, unhoused, chronically unhoused. Let's talk about Trump administration on this pro-Israel issue. Now, if you speak against Israel in South Carolina, based on Pam Bondi, you could be a part of a conspiracy. So is our sheriff going to execute, and any sheriff going to execute, this Pam Bondi executive order about Israel? And if you spoke on October 7, 2023, Pam Bondi looking into you. She looking into your speech, your social media, and everything else. I think my name might be in that, but I get down. I like that kind of stuff. You join Fred Hampton, Geronimo Pratt, and everybody great that opened the door for black folk who ain't had nothing. So if you're going to stand against the government, stand up, be prepared to go to jail or worse. That's what we at. So those who are anti-Israel, there's jail for you. Under this administration, we've seen this before.
Philip Lowry, Seth Lowry, Elizabeth Roth.
Good evening. Philip Lowry, 1528 Roosevelt Way, Charleston, South Carolina, 29414. You may recognize me. This is my third or fourth time here. This time I'm prepared a little more thoughtfully. I'll start with a quote from Howard Zinn. Historically, the most terrible things, war, genocide, and slavery, have not resulted from disobedience, but from obedience. What have we learned from these wise words? Seemingly very little. We have a Klan member-in-chief, an apartheid-loving, non-elected Department of Government Efficiency laying waste to every institution in the country, state government repressing and threatening the right to peaceful protest and education, and here on the county level, a collection of individuals willing to offer tax breaks and incentives to a rogue terrorist state hell-bent on total annihilation of an ethnic group. 80 years ago, America and the world celebrated the defeat of fascism, of Nazism, yet today council members of Charleston County continue to actively advocate for financial incentives in the form of buyout agreements with known agents, Elbit, Boeing, and others, while the community at large struggles to keep food on the table, struggles to find affordable housing. You choose to do this day in and day out. Every day that you're in elected office and don't speak out against atrocities committed, this is a choice for you. 137 Palestinians have been executed since the ceasefire went into effect. I have to wonder if you will continually ignore the execution of people on their sovereign land. How long do you allow something similar here? What will it take for you to grow a spine and stand up for the rights of all people everywhere, let alone here in Charleston County? I will end with another quote from Mr. Zinn. They will say we are disturbing the peace. There is no peace. What really bothers them is that we are disturbing the war. Free Palestine.
Seth Lowry, Elizabeth Roth.
Seth Lowry, 1528 Roustabout Way. Good evening. The decision to open the Elbit Systems facility in Charleston was made and closed to the public meetings with a FILOT agreement. A company that manufactures weapons to commit mass genocide is here in Charleston, and you did not ask your constituents' permission or garner their consent, yet you use their tax money to do it. All of those weapons have the City of Charleston's stamp of approval upon them, and you have all signed our names, my name, your names, and the entire City of Charleston's names. To these weapons sent to obliterate an entire nation from the face of this earth without your constituents' consent or approval. Money that could have gone towards our underfunded schools and infrastructure have instead been used to condemn an entire people to death. How much grief have you caused? How much death? And most importantly, what are you prepared to do to correct this heinous act? We look forward to working with you to end Charleston County's hand in the genocide of the Palestinian people. Free Palestine. Thank you.
Elizabeth Roth, Brandon Fish.
Good evening, Council. My name is Elizabeth Roth, 45 Sycamore Avenue. I'm here tonight to bring your attention to an alarming report published last week by Good Jobs First entitled The Cost of Corporate Tax Breaks on South Carolina Schools. The report exposes how our state schools have lost out on $3.2 billion in the last 6 years. Charleston County schools alone lost out on $207 million. It highlights the main source of this lost funding as county pilot agreements with corporations, the same type of agreement you made with the weapons and surveillance technology manufacturer Elbit Systems. The authors raise serious concerns about pilot agreements, namely the complete lack of transparency on such basics as award size, how many jobs were promised and then actually created, wages and benefits pledged but actually paid. This lack of disclosure makes it nearly impossible to evaluate the effectiveness of these programs. I have spent my career working in grant-funded nonprofits and know very well the demanding process to secure public funding. Gathering evidence, budgeting costs, making detailed cases for how the money will be spent and how you'll track success. You must frequently report to funders with statistics. 1,000 lunches distributed, 95 families in attendance, 80% of students show increased knowledge, on and on and on. Meanwhile, Elbit Systems essentially receives public money through large tax breaks with no reporting requirement on their vague commitment to invest in Charleston. So I tried to imagine what this impact report would boast. Maybe something like, since May 2023, we have helped murder 18,000 children in Gaza. We have committed more than one war crime, broken international law. We have hit 2 picketers with our employee vehicles, and we have participated in the theft of $207 million from Charleston Public School students and teachers. This is not a report deserving of renewed public dollars, let alone dollars that are diverted from our schools. Thank you.
Brandon Fish, Ivy Jitson.
Good evening. My name is Brandon Fish. I was here last week. I work with the Charleston Jewish Federation. Last week I had brought up a concern that that activism would escalate into anti-Semitic rhetoric and behavior, and I didn't need venture beyond the confines of this council chamber to experience that manifest in reality last week when one of the speakers from this activist group got up and spoke about anti-Semitic conspiracy theories involving Israel being responsible for 9/11. Upon leaving this chamber, I got a text message that underneath our 80th commemoration of the liberation of Auschwitz article in Local News 4, which honored our work, our organization's work on Holocaust education, somebody with the screen name Zionist Cancer, who we believe is one of the folks that have been showing up, and not necessarily here, but in general speaking about Elbit, left comments underneath this article saying that the people who were pictured in the article, who are Holocaust survivors and children of survivors, work at Elbit and are somehow responsible for Elbit. There was a comment that one of our community members have stolen billions of dollars from the government and sent it to Israel, which is not accurate. And there was also a comment that we should cry about it. This is under an article about the Holocaust. Cry about it on our Oracle surveillance network. I don't know what an Oracle surveillance network is, but if I had access to it, I would share my frustration there. In addition, I just want to say that, you know, I'm a big supporter of free speech, but I think folks can express themselves without anti-Semitism, and I would appreciate it if folks would. Thank you.
Ivy Judson, Jace Paczynski.
My name is Ivy Jansen. I live at 7119 Sweetgrass Boulevard. I'd like to start by noting that at the last county council meeting, a gentleman speaking in support of Elbit raised a seemingly fair but misleading point, which is that our coalition, are you all able to hear me? All right. That our coalition does not call for the filer removal of Boeing, despite them also manufacturing weapons. The Low Country Boeing plant only manufactures commercial airliners. They do not do manufacturing of weapons there. Ultimately, that's irrelevant. At the end of the day, there is a plant in Charleston County signed off on not by the taxpayers, but in secret by behind closed doors that manufactures howitzer weapons used to launch white phosphorus on civilian populations. I don't know if you're familiar with the effects of white phosphorus, but it is a chemical compound that burns to the bone. This is being launched upon civilians, children, women. It does not matter. It does not have targeting systems like that. At the end of the day, I am hopeful that you will work to address this wrong and move away from Elbit systems in Charleston. As always, free Palestine. Thank you.
Jace Paczynski, Neve Lewis.
My name is Jace Pluchinski from 9340 South Moreto Circle, and I'm speaking in support of Elbit out of SC. I wanted to address some of the comments that were made about this group at the last council meeting, namely the ones implicating that this is an anti-Semitic group. And I want to make it absolutely clear that we are not. This is not a group that tolerates hate in any form, and we've done nothing but come and ask you for peace. The claim that being pro-Palestine is inherently anti-Semitic is a piece of rhetoric that's been debunked time and time again. What religion Israel follows has nothing to do with the fact that they've been committing a genocide for over 70 years. Jews all over the world have stood in solidarity with the victims of the Palestinian genocide, and pretending that this call for anti-violence is anti-Semitic isn't a claim that can hold up under any real scrutiny. And it's a disservice to all our Jewish brothers and sisters who have fought with us for this liberation. According to Forward News, a Jewish-led news site, over 100 Israeli citizens have been arrested for pro-Palestinian protests and social media posts. And a step past that, Holocaust survivor Marian Ingram recently went on record saying, quote, "I am a Holocaust survivor. All of my Jewish family was murdered, and it is not in their name that Israel is killing children. What the children in Gaza are going through is what I went through." As of today, 13 Holocaust survivors have compared this genocide to what they went through. Jewish people have fought and been arrested globally for showing their support. It's a disrespect to their name and to their lives to sit here and pretend that this is an anti-Semitic issue and to imply that they themselves are anti-Jewish just for wanting peace. You cannot take this straw man argument like that seriously if you just look at the reality of the situation. To pretend this genocide represents the Jewish community as a whole is frankly gross. Our fight has never been against Jewish people. It's against the warlords profiting off a genocide. No amount of profit can justify cruelty on this scale. I don't know about you, but I can't live with myself knowing the money I earn every day is being used to fund this. You all have the power to make a real difference and save real lives. We're just asking you to act on it. Thank you.
Neve Lewis, Jamal Wright.
My name is Navi Lewis, and I live at 757 King Street. I'm speaking on behalf of the pro-Palestine movement and in opposition of Elbit Systems weapons manufacturer located in Latson. I want to start by stating that pro-Palestine does not mean anti-Semitic. As a religious studies minor at the College of Charleston, I've spent some time studying the virtuous religion that Judaism is, and I can say with confidence that the slaughtering and displacement of thousands of men, women, and children cannot be justified by this. Zionism is a political ideology that claims Jewish safety can only be obtained through a Jewish-only nation state, which is simply untrue. This belief is what caused 750,000 Palestinians to be expelled from their land and thousands murdered in the 1948 Nakba. And now we're seeing history repeat itself with the use of our tax dollars. Elbit Systems is an American subsidiary of the Israeli-based weapons and surveillance technologies manufacturer. Elbit's Latson facility opened with the support of numerous tax incentives, including a $700,000 set-aside grant approved by the Charleston County Council you see before you. At this facility, automatic self-propelled howitzer gun systems are being built with the intention to maim and kill. Israel has killed over 55,000 Palestinians and wounded at least 100,000 since October 7th, and thousands still remain missing under the rubble. As a resident of Charleston, I refuse to be complicit in this genocide, and I speak for all of us when I say I am ashamed by this city for using our tax dollars to fund the killing of innocent people. To be pro-Palestine does not mean you're anti-Semitic. What it does mean is that you're anti-apartheid, anti-settler colonialism, anti-Zionist, and most of all, pro-humanity. Thank you.
Jamal Wright, Melody Dover.
Good evening, Council. I'm Jamal Wright. I also speak for Melody Dover. We're both from the Red Top community, and we just want to reiterate that the Red Top community is in full support of the Cortland and Downing pavement project. Thank you.
Ms. Dover. That's it.
All right, thank you so much to all of those who came to provide public comments and who participated in our public hearing. At this time, we have our chaplain from the Coastal Crisis Chaplaincy, Chaplain Roy Guild, who will come and lead us in prayer. And we do have from the graduate of the Class 1 of the Emerging Leaders Program from Facilities, Director Phil Sabatino, who will come and lead us in the pledge.
Would you join me in prayer? Almighty God, I pray for this council meeting tonight. Give each council member wisdom and guidance as they deliberate on the item before them. Make every decision be righteous in your sight for our benefit and for your glory. We say amen.
Amen.
Council, if you would give me a point of personal privilege, we do have our, and I know they're going to have to leave, that's why I'm asking if you would permit this point of personal privilege. Our Ukrainian friends who are here tonight, Sergei Zik, will come and provide us, or maybe Chaplain Robinson, I think they have a presentation.
Members of council and Reverend Middleton. We just want to, I'm going to introduce them and then let them say a few words. We just want to say thank you so much to our Charleston County. They have had an amazing day of just seeing some incredible public servants at work. And they are very appreciative from their country and from the chaplaincy. We're some of y'all's biggest fans, so thank you for all you do. But they would love for you to come forward to present you with something in their appreciation.
I will try to use my voice when I'll be translating, so If you're not gonna hear me, raise your hand. Для нас дуже велика честь. For us it's an honor. Сьогодні бути у вашій країні. Today to be in your country. І саме бути у на вашій раді області. And being here with the council and this meeting. Щоб подякувати від всієї української держави, від всього українського населення. And we would like to thank you from the whole Ukraine, from the all people in Ukraine. Тому що ви, як ви знаєте, в нас в Україні відбувається страшна війна. As you know that Ukrainian encounter a war right now, a horrible war. Із терористом Путіним і всіма його воїнами. And we're fighting against terrorist Putin and against his soldiers. Ми як представники, як священники і капелани. And we're as a chaplains, as a priest and ми часто кожного місяця перебуваємо на фронті, допомагаємо нашим військовим. Every month we go to the front lines and we help our soldiers. І всі від імені всіх військових ми також хочемо вам сказати дякую. And in the name of all the soldiers we want to thank you. Тому що без вас би ми не змогли справитись до цього часу. Because without you would not be able to stand up to this day. І також сьогодні, за сьогоднішній весь день, ми хочемо вам також щиро подякувати. And we want to thank you for the day that we had a privilege to visit. Ми мали декілька зустрічей, які нам організував капелан Річ. And we had few meetings that Chaplain Rich organized for us. І для нас це велика наука, і ми беремо приклад від вас, від того, як ви управляєте містом і каунті. For us it's a big things to look up to, how you govern your county, and it's a good example for us to take. Для мене це особливо цінно, тому що я також є депутатом обласної ради нашого Рівненського регіону. For me it's very dear, close to me, because I'm being also elected government official and in charge of the economical development in our region in Ukraine. Ми приїхали в Сполучені Штати не тільки подякувати, але і взяти приклад з вас, як ви адмініструєте і управляєте, і щоб стати такими ж успішними, як ви. And we came here not only thank you, but take a good example how you govern your county, how you provide all the services to the people, and take that example to us and grow to that level. І від імені голови Рівненської обласної ради, and from the head of the Rivnen chairman and of the council, Андрія Карауша, і також від всього депутатського корпусу. Андрій Краус, and from the all council members of our region. Хочемо презентувати вам подарунок для вашої ради. The present for you, особливо для голови обласної ради. Especially for you, chairman. Це є наш прапор. This is our Ukrainian flag. На якому пришита декларація про незалежність України. And here is declaration of independence of Ukraine. Тут на цій стінці викарбований гімн України. On the back there is a hymn of Ukraine. Це герб нашої області. And this is the symbol of our region. А це наші ветерани поранені. And this is a shell from one of the shells that been fired during the wartime, and the veterans wounded veterans that came from the front lines, they create this type of things. Символічно це архангел Михаїл, який охороняє Україну. Україна у вигляді герба України, який у нас є. Symbolically, it's Archangel Michael's that his wings over the Ukrainian, which represent the symbol that represents Ukraine. Це все дуже символічно, і заради ця емблема означає воля, слово воля. And in this symbol, it's put a word called freedom and independence. Це за те, що ми зараз боремося на фронті проти Росії. That's something that we're fighting against Russian right now on the front lines for the freedom of Ukraine. І це ми хочемо вам подарувати. And we want to present this to you.
Thank you very much.
Це інформація. This is also
From весь наш
information
регіон.
about all our region.
Thank you very much. God bless America. Thank you.
Ще раз вам дуже дякую. Once again, thank you.
Give them another big hand. They've come a long way, so certainly we wanted to at least provide them with that point of privilege. I had no idea until Chaplain Rich called me, so we are very thankful for our local partnerships. Again, give them another hand. The Freedom of Information Act.
Excuse me, in compliance, there we go. In compliance with the Freedom of Information Act, notice of meeting was posted and agendas were distributed to the news media and persons requesting notification.
Item 2, minutes of the approval. Moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you so much. Item 3,
Move to adopt 3A and 3B.
moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposers, nay. Thank you very much. The Black History Month resolution. Mr. Pryor will present that. Is Mr. Harris here? Or anyone from Asala?
It's okay. I'll get that to Salisbury to give
Yes,
that.
sir, we'll get it to him.
Thank you.
All right, the St. Matthew Baptist, can we still read?
If you would like me to read it, yes, sir, I can
Well, let's
still
read the
it.
St. Matthew Baptist Church resolution.
Okay.
Reverend Brantley is here, and the members of St. Matthew Baptist Church and Councilman Darby will present that.
Yes, sir. A resolution of Charleston County Council, you all can come forward. A resolution of Charleston County Council celebrating the 125th anniversary of St. Matthew Baptist Church. Whereas St. Matthew Baptist Church was founded in 1900 under the leadership of Reverend Frank Guest and a group of baptized believers at 268 Hughie Street, where they built the first church. And whereas under the leadership of Reverend Benjamin Whipper Sr., St. Matthew Baptist Church served as a meeting place for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. at the beginning of the Civil Rights Movement and was a memorial place for federal Judge J. Wade's Waring. And whereas St. Matthew Baptist organized one of the first local Head Start programs and continues its dedication to the community education by hosting tutorial programs for high school students, GED program for adults, a Boy Scout troop, and a Girl Scout troop. And whereas under the leadership of Reverend Dr. Clinton Brantley, St. Matthew Baptist Church purchased the former Charleston Heights Baptist Church located at 2005 Reynolds Avenue in North Charleston as their new home in 2000. And whereas this space has not only been utilized as a church, but also as a space for Metanoia Community Development After School Program and North Charleston Dental Outreach Clinic and Food Bank Distribution. And whereas St. Matthew Baptist Church is now under the leadership of Reverend Calbert R. Brantley, who was elected in 2019 and successfully managed the church through the pandemic, forming Connecting, Communicating, and Caring Ministry, setting up virtual worships, prayer, and Bible studies, partnering with Palmetto Palace Mobile Health Unity to offer free COVID-19 testing and vaccination clinics, as well as undergoing major renovations to the steeple, roof, and building. And whereas St. Matthew Baptist Church continues to be a diverse and welcoming family of believers, uplifting Christ and connecting the community through faith and love for God and one another. Now therefore be it resolved that Charleston County Council does hereby celebrate the 125th anniversary of St. Matthew Baptist Church and recognizes its congregants for their dedication, service, and contributions to the citizens of Charleston County. Charleston County Council, Reverend Dr. Kylon Jerome Middleton, Chairman, February 11th, 2025.
If I may, impromptu, I'd just like to read the third paragraph again, please. It states that, or the second paragraph, whereas under the leadership of Reverend Benjamin J. Woodward Sr., St. Matthew Baptist Church served as a meeting place for Dr. King at the beginning of the Civil Rights Movement and was a memorial place, a memorable place, I should say, for the federal Judge J. Wade Waring. Federal Judge J. Wade Waring, a white man who had enough guts, backbone, and courage to say that there is no place for segregation in American society, American education. And this judge was run out of town in fear of his life. As I taught my students in school, irrespective of how conservative the South was and still is, there were always white allies to assist African Americans within the African American experience. And he doesn't get the credit that he so deserves. But I would ask you, please read about Judge J. Wade Waring and what he did for the African American cause in spite of all he had to go through. This is my very good friend, Reverend Brantley, and wife. I have the daughter, or the daughter-in-law of the Right Reverend Dr. Benjamin Woodward Sr. History does have its place. And I have my hand around this man and this lady that at Morris College in Charleston, South Carolina, I was grandparentless, I was parentless. Her cousin, his best friend, took care of me as if I were his own child, and Mom Dawkins. So thank you very much. That was impromptu. But I'm going to ask the Reverend, if you are so desirous, or the other Reverend, the wife, if you have any words to say on behalf of the resolution.
I just want to say thank you for the presentation. Matthew has been a monumental thing in the community, and we thank you for what you've done today, and that we trust that this legacy will continue on to the next, whatever the minister, our guest minister said, what's next? We are ready for what's next in our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Yes, sir.
All right. I'll see you later. Good to see you again. All right. God bless you.
Again, thank you so much, Reverend Brantley, Reverends in Brantley, and to the St. Matthew Baptist Church. They were once on the peninsula of Charleston, and now in North Charleston. We thank God for your legacy. Give them another
Thank you.
hand. That's all right. To our Ukrainian friends, I know you all have to leave, but our administrator wanted you all to have a Charleston County Council coin. So if you would come back up, Victoria, Sergey, and friends, Andrew, you all come up and get this coin as you leave. And this will be something that you can place in your pocket and fondly remember Charleston County. Quite welcome. God bless you all. Thank you. Item 3. St. Paul's Fire District General Obligation Bonds.
Yes, sir. An ordinance authorizing the St. Paul's Fire District, South Carolina, to issue not exceeding $4,400,000 aggregate principal amount of general obligation bonds, providing for the publication of notice of the said finding and authorization, and providing for other matters related thereto. Mr. Boykin?
Aye.
Mr. Darby?
Aye.
Mrs. Honeycutt?
Aye.
Mr. Kabrowski?
Aye.
Mr. Moody?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor? Mr. Sass?
Mr.
Warman?
Aye.
Mr. Middleton?
Aye.
The ordinance has passed third reading with 9 ayes.
Item 5A, update on the County Code of Ordinances, Section 2-126 and Section 2-127, second reading.
An ordinance amending Section 2-126 and repealing Section 2-127 of the Charleston County Code of Ordinances to provide for continuity of operations and to conform with current administrative positions. Mr. Boykin?
Aye.
Mr. Darby?
Aye.
Mrs. Honeycutt? Mr. Kabrowski?
Aye.
Mr. Moody?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye.
Mr. Sass?
Aye.
Mr. Warman?
Aye.
Mr. Middleton?
Aye.
The ordinance has passed second reading with 9 ayes.
Item 5B, Tri-County Biological Center, Science Center Utility Easement Transfer to Dominion Energy South Carolina, Inc., second reading.
An ordinance approving and authorizing the grant of a utility easement to Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated on a portion of county property identified as tax map parcel number 412000012, located at Leeds Avenue and Brickyard Creek Road, North Charleston, South Carolina 29405. Mr. Boykin?
Aye.
Mr. Darby?
Aye.
Mrs. Honeycutt? Mr. Kabrowski?
Aye.
Mr. Moody?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye.
Mr. Sass?
Aye.
Mr. Warman?
Aye.
Mr. Middleton?
Aye.
The ordinance has passed second reading with 9 ayes.
Item 6, committee
Chairman, move for committee
recommendations.
recommendation A through F.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposers, nay. Item 7,
I do need to read these
let's
ordinances.
read the first
Yes, sir.
reading.
An ordinance authorizing the conveyance of real property located at 1118 Carverwood Lane, totaling approximately .18 acres, parcel identification number 35106000194 to Narrow Gate Development. An ordinance authorizing the conveyance of real property located at 5317 Alvey Street, totaling approximately .22 acres, parcel identification number 40808-00282 to Carolina Dream Builders Incorporated. An ordinance authorizing the conveyance of real property located at 3992 Vista Court, totaling approximately .33 acres, parcel ID number 47815-00109 to Carolina Dream Builders Incorporated. An ordinance authorizing the conveyance of real property located at 3989 Paramount Drive, totaling approximately .2 acres, parcel identification number 410100030 to Caldwell Kynard LLC. An ordinance authorizing the conveyance of real property located at 4828 Foxwood Drive, totaling approximately .26 acres, parcel ID number 40408000212 to J&W Construction and Design Company LLC. An ordinance to amend the 2024-2025 budget ordinance number 2296 to provide for the increase of St. Paul's Fire District's general fund budget by appropriating an additional $584,699 for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025, hereinafter referred to as fiscal year 2025, to provide for budgetary control of said appropriations by the county council and the county administrator and other matters relating thereto.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Item 7, consent agenda.
Move for approval A through C.
Second.
Probably moved and seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. The ayes have it. Item 8.
Move for approval A and B.
Second.
Probably moved and seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. All right. We've concluded our business, and we will now have council comments, beginning with Mr. Darby.
I guess I'm a little myth of the folks coming here about Elbert, and I think at some time this county needs to make a statement, because there's no way in the world that we are in coalition with any organization that want to bomb children or anything of that nature. According to the Declaration of Independence, all men are created equal. And if that's the case, that includes Palestinians, that includes Jews, that includes blacks, whites, Democrats, Republicans. It says all men, which would be inclusive of women. And I'm not going to continue being here, sitting here quiet, allowing them to attach that to this council. Elbert was here 2 years prior to that matter in Israel. 2 years. We don't have that kind of clairvoyance. We don't. But for a certain group to come here to continue and to blame us over something that merits the attention of the federal government, I really don't like it, and I've done my best to hold my peace, but they're going to keep coming, and I'm going to say what I have to say. Because we are not in coalition of anyone being killed. All men should be free. And if anybody can talk about freedom, it has to be the African American. We know what freedom tastes like. Our founding fathers know what freedom tastes like. We all know this is a free nation. And for us to continue in this vein, county council persons, without having, I wouldn't say not having the courage, but there may come a time that this council as a whole, that these folks don't come to us, that we must make a statement to defend ourselves. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Darby. Mr. Werman?
You know, I understand Mr. Darby's sentiments. I agree with a lot of that too. I understand the concerns from the community. I would agree with them that it is very possible to be pro-Palestine and not necessarily anti-Semitic. I would submit that it's also possible for that to not be the case. And so, you know, I have concerns about the rhetoric going on here. I have concerns about what could even be done, but I do understand their desire for some dialogue on it. And I think what Mr. Darby said is true, that, you know, this happened before, and how we all take that into account in future economic development type votes is something we'll all have to make decisions on. That being said, you know, I don't have anything else. I would just send my thoughts to Mr. Pryor and his family during this difficult time for him. I know that they're going through a loss in the family, and so that would be my only thought for the evening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Werman. Mr. Boykin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I may follow up on Mr. Enfinger's request, may I direct staff to collaborate with legal and put together a presentation for council as to the legality and application and feasibility of the impact fee laws that have been used by other counties in this state, to see what it may or may not do for us, if that would be all right. And prayers and condolences to you, Mr. Pryor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thoughts and prayers are with the Pryor family. Thank you.
Mr. Moody?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Darby, thank you for opening up. That's been on my mind lately, too. I've heard, you know, it's fashionable to say misstatement. I've heard a lot of lies last couple weeks up here, and I think, Mr. Tootin, the county should be prepared to issue some sort of statement rebutting all of these things that are out there. Also, Mr. Pryor, it's good to be with you and your family. Just briefly, Sunday, a great turnout, man. Y'all got a lot of support in that community, so the line was wrapped around the church. So just continue to. You probably worn out when the day was over, but very dignified, very beautiful day. Good Lord smiled on your family, so we continue to keep you in our prayers. And just want to mention today, had several council members and a lot of staff were at the Economic Development annual luncheon. Mr. Dykes was recognized. A lot of good wins in 2024. And Mr. Tootin wanted to thank you, too. I think the hiring of Merle Johnson just appears to be a real home run. He cut his teeth here. He ran off, got some leadership skills, and he's back here again. And I thank you for for taking that hire. Well, not that you take all your hires seriously, but taking that hire very seriously, forming a committee to pull together and vet that. And I think that's a real win for you and the county to have Merle back here. So that's it, Mr. Middleton. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much. Ms. Honeycutt?
Thank you, Reverend Middleton. Also, my prayers are with the Pryor family. Sorry I couldn't be here with you this weekend, but I know how much your sister was loved, and so we love you guys. Also, just wanted to follow up. I believe I just spoke with the chairman about the request I've been making week after week, and I believe that staff is prepared by next Thursday to bring us a request, an RFQ for a TST program in education and engagement consultant. So just wanted to confirm that and make sure I just said it again for the record. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Mr. Pryor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to everyone for your love and your support. We will get past this. Losing a sibling is not easy. But I always tell people life is fair. You know, we on the front seat yesterday, but somebody else tomorrow. So we must continue. Reverend Milton, thank you for your support. And his mother was there. I mean, she was awesome. I mean, and she meant a lot to Joy, and Joy meant a lot to her. And so we appreciate it. One thing, Mr. Guy, did you ever get those numbers that I asked you about? When that guy said we had $168 million in surplus, and I think you said you was going to look into it and get back to me. Did you ever get those numbers for me? The real numbers. I think you said it wasn't the real number, and I asked that 2 weeks ago. I have the real number. If you don't have it today, you can email it to all the council, or you can call me.
It was prepared for council last Thursday. If it didn't make it in your box last Thursday, we'll make sure that you receive a copy explaining the county's reserves and the change from the prior.
If you would do that at the next committee meeting and make a presentation, Mr. Chairman, so all will know, public as well too, that would be fine. You still could send me that information, but I'd ask that be put on the agenda so everybody would know. Okay, Mr. Tootin, if you'll see to that for me, please. And again, thanks to everybody who showed up. Luella, thank you. She was there from beginning to the end. That was her soror, our sister. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pryor. Vice Chair Kabrowski?
Love and prayers to Councilman Pryor. And I want to also second what Councilman Boykin said about giving a presentation of what Mr. Infinger had to present. I look forward to those findings. And I just wanted to say it was ironic we had the visitors from the Ukraine today, and the area of the Ukraine that they came from was once a heavily Jewish area of the Ukraine. And in no other area other than Lithuanian was there such a devastation by the Nazis of almost 100% of the Jewish population. And for me, less than a week after the 3 hostages came back, they look like Holocaust survivors, tortured, and when the women come back, raped and mutilated. We hear nothing from these people that came all the time about the babies who are beheaded, the women who are raped. And it reminds me now that thank God that Israel does have arms to defend themselves. What happened in the Ukraine and Lithuanian during the Second World War with the Nazis, there were no Jewish soldiers or armies or weapons to defend the Jewish people. And that won't happen again, and it's not happening now. And I pray that the remaining hostages come back. I mean, every loss of a mother, father, child is unimaginable, whatever your race or religion is. But to recognize that these hostages have been kept underground by savages who behead babies, rape women, and bring them back half-starved and tortured to death. And it's hard to sit through and listen to lies and stuff about the only Jewish nation in the world right now. So I hope hungry people have a right to speak. But I heard it too last time, comparing that the Jews were responsible for 9/11, and to suggest that among that people whose women and children, there's still 3-year-olds that have been captured and kept underground. to suggest that a sovereign nation doesn't have the right to defend themselves and try to rescue their hostages, if that isn't racism, I don't know what is. But I also want to ask for a resolution that about the Cape Romaine National Wildlife Refuge is one of the jewels of Charleston County. It's one of the most pristine wildlife sanctuaries, not only in South Carolina, but in America, in the whole world. We're facing a situation now where out-of-state developer wants to build 208 houses. It's within the town of Allendale, but the tract is within the congressionally authorized boundaries of the wildlife refuge. And this large, dense development would rely entirely on individual septic systems, and stormwater discharge will go directly into the refuge. This will impact the health and viability of the refuge and our waters. And I'd like to propose that Charleston County put a resolution that opposes this, because it's a special gift that we have here in Charleston, and in our waterways, it affects all of us as in the county of Charleston. I would ask that we consider asking our own attorney to file a friend of the court brief on behalf of the plaintiffs in that case, because I believe it does impact what we have. It impacts the purity of our waters. I would also ask that going forward, I think that our chairman has been on to a wonderful start about transparency and put everything out there. I'd like to propose that at each meeting we have a running list of all the projects from previous sales tax referendums, what's been completed, what hasn't, what remains to be done, and what are we doing to get those done. I think there's not going to necessarily be action from meeting to meeting, but we're going to have a big challenge ahead of us in less than 2 years with a new referendum. And the best way we can get done, if we all recognize we have needs, is transparency, so everybody knows what's remaining from every previous sales tax referendum, what remains to be done, and how are we doing it, and what progress are we making on each one of those projects. I think that would go a long way to restoring trust and helping us do what we ultimately hope to do in the not-too-distant future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Pryor?
Yes. To elaborate on what Mr. Kabrowski is asking for, I had spoke with the administrator and Mr. Thigpen about doing it on every quarter. Doing it every week is a lot for staff. It takes away from their time on being out in the field and doing it. So I would ask that every quarter we get an update, normally. So on planning and public works, there will be an update every quarter on, and I even spoke to Ms. Honeycutt about this. I think that the constituency to know what we have done, what we're about to do, and, they also need to know that some of these projects have already been permitted and we have the money, but we don't have any bidders to bid on these projects because work is so plentiful, nobody wants to bid on some of these smaller projects. So I just wanted you to know we'll be getting that every quarter starting in March, okay? Starting in March. And lastly, I agree with the gentleman who spoke about impact fees. I've been talking about impact fees for years. We allow these developers to come in and, they develop these places and they let us, they leave all this stuff with us. They leave our roads impacted, our schools impacted. And so impact fee is not a bad word. It's just that, sometimes you make you pay for what you get.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Madam Attorney?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I just want to extend my thoughts and prayers to Mr. Pryor and his family. Had the opportunity to meet several of your siblings. Never got to meet Joy, but I've heard a lot about her, and I just wanted to extend my condolences.
Thank you. Mr. Administrator?
Mr. Pryor, continued comfort and peace to you and your family.
Thanks for your support, call.
Yes.
I was remiss in saying something, sir, if you don't mind my saying. I just want to say to Ms. Honeycutt, your hair looks lovely.
I was actually jealous of Miss Salisbury when I saw her on video Thursday.
And Ms. Salisbury showed up. Thank you too, Ms. Salisbury.
Thank you all very much, and I would love to just call the name of Joy Shannon Pryor. Many of you don't recognize the fact that the Pryors and the Middletons are extremely close.
Yep.
And we didn't become close just because I came on county council. We've been close for years, and years, long-standing closeness. In fact, at some point, my mother and those lived on the Height, and they moved back to Charleston on Poplar Street. They pledged the same sorority. Joy and my mother served in the same chapter, amen, for years and years and years. And certainly as we continue to move forward, it was joy. When I came on council and bumped my head, they called my mother and said, "Hey, what's going on with Kylon? What is he doing?" And such. And so my mother politely called me to the house, and then that was the end of that. And that's all I can say. So to read between those lines. But I am so elated and pleased because the Christian witness of Joy Shannon Pryor continues to live. And in the black culture, we never die, right? Because we keep calling the names.
Yes.
And they live through their legacies, and they live through the life that they leave and the touch that they've given, and the continued, remembrances that we share, that we can begin to speak of from time to time, and when we have those opportunities. And so I love Joy. She was full of life and reminded us that every day you should live it like it's your last.
Yes, sir.
Every day.
Come on, preacher. Come on.
Because you don't know
Yes, sir.
the minute nor the hour. And one thing I tell my son, he's 28 years old, you ought to always be ready.
Come on.
Don't get ready.
Be ready.
Be ready.
Yes, sir.
Because when the roll is called and your name is written in the seas of time, you have to be ready. And the legacy that you leave can't be based on these tangible things that we experience in this life. But there has to be those things that are eternal,
Yes,
that
sir.
enables us to connect in a spiritual, soul connecting way. And so thank you all for Joy and giving us the opportunity to love her too. Because I know she was your sister, but she was also our sister, our Christian sister, and our sister in the human family. And so thank you all. And it was just a pleasure, to be alongside the Pryor family. I love them. I moved away. Sometimes people hold that against you when you move away. And I was gone. Some people don't think I was gone for 27 years. And came back. My mother said, "Now you were gone, and you didn't remember." And then she had to help me remember all the things, right? And so that was one of those long-standing relationships, the Middletons and the Pryors, and we continue that even through our children, and well, I don't have grandchildren yet, but our posterity, because those boys and girls are still hanging tough. And so thank you all for who you are and for the witness and legacy that the Pryors, not only in Charleston County, but in the world. I would like to say that we're moving forward. I hit the ground running, and we hit the ground running. And I invited you all to kind of line up and let us get together and move this county forward. And so on February 25th, we will have the negotiation meeting for 993, 995 Morrison Drive. That's going to happen on February 25th. More information to come if you wish to be a part of that. On March 25th, we had a very productive meeting today with the chair of the State Infrastructure Bank, as well as others who were a part of that call. And we're going to have prayerfully something happen on March 25th at the Joint Board Review Committee. That's a date set in stone. And so we look forward to lots of discussion after the March 25th meeting. I think we'll be free and released to discuss things in total and full. Would just like to also note that we have constructed and sent a letter to the Animal Society. We met with them, had a very productive meeting, in my opinion, with the Animal Society that was facilitated by Councilman Darby. And so we are so optimistic that the letter that we send with some things that we're asking, that in the next 7 to 10 days or whatever the timeline given in that letter, we will have more information to discuss relative to the Animal Society. Ms. Salisbury is already setting up meetings with me and the mayors from the 3 big cities. And so at least to discuss potentially an intergovernmental agreement between the animal society. So we're moving forward. And then lastly, I would like to, well, not lastly, but also I would like to add in our next committee meeting, Human Resources Committee meeting, in order to discuss some personnel matters to include contracts. We have several contracts that are coming to be renewed in the coming months, and I would not like to wait until that time in order to start talking about that, so that we might be able to at least begin that process of evaluations and assessing these employees to make certain that we are ready and positioned to move forward with those contract renewals and negotiations. And the last thing I would like to say, as we approach February 14th, it is the day of love. And I would like to say happy Valentine's Day to everybody, women and men alike. Because oftentimes, you know, when we say Valentine's Day, it's always the women who seem to be the benefactors of the Valentine.
Get it right. Get it right.
All right, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it alone. Leave it alone. But also the men.
Men folk important too. Yes, sir.
Men too. So you know, when you all spend the inflationary prices for those flowers,
that's right.
And cheaper the next day.
Come on. Come on, Ms. Durant. Let's get together for your husband. Come on, Ms. Durant.
All right, that's all I would like to say. But happy Valentine's Day to everybody. We would like to leave on a note of love, recognizing that we appreciate everybody in county government.
Yes, sir.
And thank you for your service.
Yes, sir. That deserves a round of applause.
You better call my wife, because she will be mad at you. Better call her. You showing her love?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm getting a little